Hello, dear ones. Once again, we're here together. We're here to talk. And as you know, things are picking up speed. It's getting more intense. And you possibly feel this too in your own life or in the lives of people around you, or when you look at the global situation, right? So we are feeling what is unfolding. Okay, we are sensing what is unfolding, we're experiencing it. Now, we're only moving into this, but I want to soothe you as well. We're moving through this. It's very important to always remember with what is ahead of us and what we're in the middle of now is a passageway. It's not going to stay this way. We are in a transitional phase. And I know many of you want timelines and time frames of how long is this going to last, what's going to come next, and how long is that going to last, and where are we headed? And there is a time for everything. But what I want to say with this special sea situation, with the other situation, all the questions that are within this and all the conflict, between the ones who got it, between the ones who haven't and who don't want to get it, and all this kind of stuff. It's there and it will pass. Now this is my perspective, okay? This is what I can bring to the table from my connection and my information from the broader perspective, the broader consciousness, right? So what I can say to you is it's not going to stay this way forever. Now, again, that's a very broad statement because nothing stays the way it is forever, but we're passing through this and maybe quicker than you think. On the other hand, for some people, this quick may seem incredibly long or may be incredibly long. So it's not going to be over within a few months. Okay, I can tell you this from my perception of what I feel, sense in the field. What we're experiencing right now with all the conflict and all this boiling up of topics, and how humanity is reacting in different ways, this first has to be played out, okay? And with this video, I'm going to support you in your own way of dealing with this, because this is like one of the most asked questions at the moment that you email me about, that you talk to me about in sessions, that we have conversations about. It's like, how am I supposed to deal with this? Especially if maybe my job is on the line, my business is on the line. Like, let's say if you're in gastro, or many businesses and many jobs are threatened at the moment. And no matter where you are in the world right now, to one degree or another, this is applying to you, right? There is, for most people on the planet right now, is a connection between what's going on globally and their personal life. Some people are outside of that and are in their bubble, and that's fine. But I'm speaking to the ones who have to deal with what's going on and how it's affecting their life right now. And so I can give you something to work with that will actually be a practical tool and a practical help for you moving forward. Because the main issue that you are dealing with, if you have any issues with this, right, is fear. Maybe fear of losing your job, maybe fear of having to close down your business, maybe fear of what's going to happen to my kids if they can't go to school or kindergarten, or if they are going, but they are maybe ostracized because we are against certain things, or maybe different fears, right? I don't have to tell you all of them, because you know what fear you're experiencing or what fears you're experiencing. And the first thing is that you're not alone. You know this, okay? This doesn't necessarily help, but it makes it more bearable. Okay, you're not alone in this. And because you're not alone, because it affects so many people, this energy of, and this is what I want to encourage you to do first, instead of energy and fear-based thoughts, right, of what is going to happen and how am I going to deal with this if I can't continue with my work, if I'm out of a job or out of my home because I can't pay my rent, and what if, instead of doing this, remember, so many people are in the same boat right now. So what you do is, instead of saying, what if the worst, comes to pass, and what if my worries come true, you stop yourself, because you realize, we're talking like a different consciousness level now, right? Because you realize, okay, this is my little ego, my little identity, my little human who is fearful, but from a higher perspective, I observe my little human self and I guide my little human self through this, because from a higher perspective, you have a much broader view. So what you do is, instead of saying what if, and focusing on your worries, which you know is just gonna contribute to you experiencing what you don't want, what you do is you realize there's so many of us, and I need to, number one, uphold myself, and then be there for others. Because what we need now more than ever is the spirit of communion, the spirit of community, the spirit of unity. And this means reaching out, even, or maybe because you are feeling fearful and uncertain. Feel it, yes, that's fine, but then observe your little human feeling it and say, okay, this is what it feels like to feel uncertain, unstable, to not being able to hold on to anything anymore because I don't know what's going to happen in a month or in a year's time. So see your human body and identity experiencing that, and then say, right, okay, so this is what it feels like. Now calm down, because we will get through this. I will get through this. And this is what I'm going to extend to the next person beside me, to my neighbor who's talking to me about her fears and her uncertainties and her worries because of what she has heard in the news, because of what has come up. And so by you not entertaining and engaging on an emotional level, let's say too much, if possible not at all, too much, with your own fears and programs, because it's all just programs, and moving a step up and saying, okay, I'm going to observe the human experience that my soul is having in the body. I'm going to observe this, and I'm going to take whatever I can in terms of learning, but also strength, and extend it to others. And this is going to work because you move away from being totally closed in the topic to a higher purpose. And all of you light workers out there, you will know, you know what I'm talking about. You all of a sudden notice, my soul is here to do a job, to do something, to, yes, experience, but also to bring the wisdom that my soul has here, and then to let others benefit from it, not just for me to cruise through this, because really it's about how can we cruise through this. Now, don't mistake cruising through this time period with close your eyes and just let things happen. That's not what I'm talking about. By cruising, I mean keeping this calm level of wisdom, of sense, of maturity, like from a soul level, from a spirit level, right? And injecting this, introducing this into your human experience, and then let others benefit from this. Feel those words, because already they will make you feel calmer. They will remove you from being totally inside the story to coming out and observing the story. Now you're still in it, but you can choose to what degree, and that choice makes you free. That choice makes you free, and it makes you much more aware of the broader perspective and much more able to act and react wisely, maturely, sensibly, because that's what's needed. Because otherwise it's like a fight or flight mode if we're within the story and within the fears and within the chaos, and there is nothing rational about this, right? So the outcome or how we go through this will possibly not be a very bright experience. So if we stay on a higher level of consciousness, if you ask yourself, many of you will know what I mean, but if you ask yourself, what does it mean? For a start, just focus on you not identifying completely with this you, realizing I am more than me. I am consciousness, or a part of consciousness that is embodied in this personality, in this body, in this physical experience. Because that way, once you get into this observer space, you have a naturally, all of a sudden, you will notice this if it's the first time you're trying this, there will be a calmness that you experience because you know on that level all is well, whatever the case. And that is the truth level. This here is the illusion level. Yes, it feels very real, and yes, we're going through it, but do this always with the connection, or if possible, from that level of perspective. So that's the first thing. Keep that perspective and then extend that calmness that you have and a wider awareness to others and share that with others. Now, that doesn't mean you have to discuss things with them and tell them a better view of things, because in the end, this is all about, this person has that opinion and I have my opinion, and this sharing of opinions or trying to get the other person to understand your opinion, that does not get us anywhere, because an opinion is still ego, identity. It's not awareness. It's not who we really are. It's not the bigger perspective. But we want to grow, right? We want to develop, which means we want to expand our awareness, our consciousness, and this means entering a different state of consciousness. So that's why we're even talking, right? Otherwise we could just live our life and that's it. But because we're thinking about things, because you're thinking about things, and because you're interested in developing yourself as a human being, as you experience, and this time that we're in, no matter how difficult it is a brilliant opportunity for development. Meaning developing wisdom, developing compassion, developing love, developing patience, developing insight, and our strength, like taking in as well where we notice our programming, our training, how we have trained ourselves or how life has trained us, the concepts, the fixed mind states, like that we notice this because we're confronted with them now and we have to deal with them. If you're full of fear right now, which is totally understandable, but they're just your programs. So you have the opportunity to confront your programs, right? Which means looking at them, but look at them compassionately because you understand why they're there, and then transforming them. You don't have to live in those programs through these times anymore. You can be completely free of those fear programs if you're willing to look at them and then to integrate them, but moving towards your true self, your real self, the consciousness of who you really are. And this is a wonderful opportunity right now for many, many souls on the planet to do this, who otherwise would not have entered that development, who would not have started the awakening process because everything was going smooth and, it was the day-to-day routine and this could have gone on till the end of the life, but it isn't. Everything is thrown up in the air and we're kind of falling around. We're being thrown up in the air and we're trying to find the best way of falling gently, like a little feather and not like a stone hitting the ground, okay? And maybe even choosing the ground we land on and who we land with and what we do there and what we develop there, what we establish there. So see this also as the time of opportunity. And you know, it is so easy when life goes smoothly. I actually wanted this to be a quick video, but it's longer than I thought. But I'm going to say this anyway because I think this will be beneficial to a lot of you who are dealing with those fears, right? When life goes smoothly, we stagnate, or we tend to stagnate. And we're not thinking, we're not even that interested in changing anything. And we're also not, oftentimes, in the lives we've had, maybe, oftentimes we were not even challenged to grow beyond our own expectations of ourselves. And right now, we have a time where we are invited to check again within ourselves what are our values. And really, that's a huge topic that is coming up now. What are my number one values? Is it stability? Is it freedom? Is it compassion? Is it love? Is it security? What are my values? Is it truth? Or the opposite? What are my values? And in a time like this, where we need more than beautiful words that we can speak when we're safe in our little cushy life, right? We can say, well, I would do this and I would do that if I were in that situation. If a war were to start, I would do this. Or in the Second World War, I would have done that. Or that is so easy to say when you're not in the situation. But right now we are in a situation. The whole planet, with every human on it, is in a situation where they are asked to and invited to live and choose their integrity, to live and choose the way they see themselves as a human being on the planet. What does it mean to be human right now? What kind of a human are you right now? And if you say, I'm a very fearful human right now, feeling pushed into a corner, okay, what do you do with it? Go within. You will not find the answers outside. And a talk like this, where we as like-minded people, like-hearted people, like-soul people talk to each other, can be the inspiration to actually go within and find that strength within yourself. Now, the outside world cannot provide this for you. It can just provide the inspiration or the spark. But it is up to you to say, I will find my integrity inside because it is the time to explore it. It is the time to develop it and to show it, to live it. My integrity, my honor, maybe my human nobility, my nobility as a human being, my way of being human with others, my way of living love, my way of supporting someone else. This is the time. The way I'm doing this video now, I'm solely and purely doing this to support somebody who might actually benefit from it. Because I feel inside of me this sense of hope and this sense of I am a sovereign being. Because I have this at the moment, I feel like I can share this. This is something I can share. I could also just say, well, I'm feeling this way, that's great, I don't care about the rest. I care. I care about souls. And this is why I'm doing this. And you can do it. And now it's not a big achievement to do a video, right? But you can do this in whatever way. We can do this every single day in the smallest of opportunities, of situations. And not just when we encounter people, but when you're at home, sitting alone in your sitting room, you can develop that strength, that integrity, that nobility, that love, that compassion, that supporting energy for others. And you can send that out. Everything is energy, and it will arrive. And by what you're doing at home in your sitting room, or when you're out walking in the woods, because everything is energy, this will be like a light. And I know it sounds so, the esoteric talk, but it is. If you could see it from a different plane, from a different dimension, looking down on the planet, you would see the spark coming up when you have a positive thought, when you have a positive emotion, when you feel actually love, and when you feel more whole and more integrated. You're brighter. And this brightness has an effect. And even if you can't see it, by you feeling better, it's worth trying. Because if this makes you feel better to go down that path and to explore that path, your inner being will be telling you, yes, that feels better, so that feels truer to me. It feels truer to me. And I know I'm saying this a lot, but we need this from you right now. We're not here, every single one of us, just to look after ourselves and get through this by ourselves and be on our own. No. We need every single person, every single soul who is willing to dig deep right now and bring out the best, the brightest, the light, the love for the planet, for other people. This is what we need right now, because this will bring about the changes that we want, the brighter future. So that we go to a sort of humanity that we're proud of being a part of, that we feel honored to be a part of, and that our integrity fills with dignity. Right now, humanity, I don't know how proud you are to be a part of it, right? It's wow. And by right now, I mean the past couple of thousands of years, right? So we, and just we, it's not about finger pointing. You can't say if they change something, then things will be better. It's about what kind of a human being are we today? And we can be joyful, and we can be hopeful, and we can be strong and supportive, even if we're dealing with fears ourselves. Remembering that fear is just the disconnection from love, temporarily, because once you enter the state of love again, there is no fear. Remember, we are beings of love. And this special situation right now is pushing a lot of people into remembering that, because that's where they will find the refuge. That's where they will find the truth, because everything else is filled with untruths, which are appearing all of a sudden. What we thought was the way it was, we discover, no, not at all. It's just one storyline. And it could, well be this storyline or that. And I choose to believe, and then I live with that storyline, even though it's totally false. So the truth is where the love is. The truth is where your soul is. The truth is where that part of your consciousness is. And if you marry with that again, if you join with that again, and with that perspective, you help yourself and you help others. And don't forget, that's the other thing right now. to live your life while all of this is going on. Life is not on hold just because there is a big thing happening. You still live every day, okay? So still live. Remember to live. Remember to laugh. Remember to be a human being with everything, with whatever is going on right now, okay? This is a message that I'm passing on, right? From Spirit, from the higher realms. Don't stop living. Keep living. And maybe live more than before, more consciously, more purposefully. Oh yeah, that's good. More purposefully every day now because of what's going on. With your family, with your children, with your parents, with your community, or even just with yourself, or your dog, or your cat, or your connection. Live more purposefully. Don't stop living and say, I'm going to wait for the next 1.5 years, 3 years, 5 years until I start living again. No. Keep living your life. Okay? Okay, with that, I'm going to send us into this day. I'm going to love you and leave you, and we'll talk again next time if you want to.